everybody, my name's Kiahonfire and welcome to a guide on gardening in Soulmask. Wanting to grow your own crops, perhaps feed your own animals such as alpacas, llamas and whatever else, or maybe you need to make some alchemy stuff. Well, this is the guide for you that's going to teach you everything I know about gardening. And well, let's start with the technology tree. This is the first thing you're going to learn, crop planting. That is how you unlock the farmland plots. It's how you unlock the fertilizer bucket, which you're going to need because farmland needs fertilizer of many different kinds. And there's also a lot to farming in this game because you do need to be careful for like locusts and like overgrowth and stuff like that. But you can grow a good variety of stuff. Later down the line, there's also bigger versions of gardening involving a granary, which will be really essential for getting all your crops in there. And you can unlock other compounds, such as nitrate ore, which is used for different types of fertilizer. Here's a little look at our granary right here. You can see that they store all of the plants and crops and fertilizer in here, which is good. We're going to need this corn for making alpaca and llama feed. It's going to be great. And there's so many different types of crops in this game. It is insane. Also really good for cotton, which you're going to need for bandages and making higher tier armor. So here we can see our farmer right here in our tribe is planting some crops for us. This is really helpful because honestly placing crops in this game can be a little bit painful. They also just fertilize the crop. You can see right here, it just gave me a message, no bone fertilizer. I think this NPC right here is going to try and fertilize it for us. But having a look on here, you're going to see hydration, compost, ash fertilizer, bone powder, stone powder. Certain crops need certain types of fertilizer, and bone powder seems to be one that this one needs, as this farmer right here is filling the crop up. To be able to determine what crop needs what, you just hover over the seed. It will tell you, like with the corn, it requires bone fertilizer and a certain temperature as well. Which, I mean, if you're living in the main jungle, most temperatures are absolutely fine and work for most things. Also in here, you can see bone fertilizer for peanuts, ash fertilizer for pumpkins, bone fertilizer for tomatoes, stone fertilizer for chili seeds, which is probably one of the harder fertilizers to get. And then you have the same for guava, stone powder, bone fertilizer for cashews, and stone powder for the papayas. So make sure you fertilize your crops well so they can grow and not destroy themselves or be stunted and take ages. Let me give you a little example of how to actually apply these to your farm plots. It's going to be the same process. If you need to use a herbicide or a pesticide, you just put it in your hotbar and you're going to press that number on the hotbar. So I got some bone powder. I'm going to put this into my tomato plot so that they have more bone to use. They only have 56 at the moment, which might be an issue. So I just press 0 and I'm putting more into the plot. I'm just going to keep pressing it until it goes up high enough that I'm happy with it. So yeah, you could just fill up the plot and then your crop should be absolutely fine. You don't need a full one, just enough. It's worth keeping an eye on or putting some in like a granary or something and getting your NPC farmer to do the job. Now, I don't have this issue currently, but it can happen quite rapidly when you're farming. But if you see a crop plot and you have like lots of grass sticking out of it, this is when you're going to need to make the item called Herbicide. To make this, we're going to our house and I'll show you what you need to make it. So we're going into the brewing stand table right here. And here you can see lots of alchemy items. So we're going to go down, we're going to see Herbicide. And you can see here, used to remove weeds from farmland. You're going to need lime, acidic fluid, venom, and water consumption. So you're going to need some water as well. You can make the acidic fluid in here if you want. It's going to take some like tomatoes or something will be the easiest way. Or later on you'll be able to farm sulfur, which will make it easier as well. You can also loot a lot of herbicides and pesticide from camps, so if you want to do it that way as well, you absolutely can. Pesticide is also very useful. You can use bone powder and venom for this, probably the easier way to make it. And when you get pests like locusts on your plants, you're going to visibly see like flies going around one of your plants, and then you're going to do the same like you did with the fertilizer, aim at the plant and hit it with the pesticide. So that's something also to be very wary of when you're farming, and make sure you don't have that issue. Now, one of the most useful items when you're farming will be this little bucket down here. This is where you make all your fertilizer items. So in here, probably going to start off with general compost, the easiest one, tree bark, and then you can either use fiber, thatch, or vine. You'll probably be using fiber because that's the easiest out of all of them to mass farm. And then you have your other different fertilizers, which is used for different things. So ash fertilizer is not too bad. You'll need feces and fire ash. Now, if you need feces, the best way to get this is by building an outhouse. And then the cool thing is any of your tribe will use these outhouses, and even you can use the outhouse and it will fill them with poop. And then when you go into the toilet and you have a look, it will have poop inside. And then you can just use the poop. Ah, there you go. There's all the poop right there. So yeah, they generate actually quite a lot in those outhouses. So if you need like an endless supply of it, then just make sure you use those outhouses and, well, you'll get absolutely loads. For fire ash, you just grab it straight out of your bonfire. It comes from all the burning stuff to keep your house decay timer up. And then bone is quite similar, feces, and then just bone powder, which you'll grind bones down in a grinder. Stone powder is the harder one because you need niter powder or acidic fluid. We already talked about acidic fluid using feces again. Let's have a little look at niter powder. So if you have a look in medium grinding, you're going to see that the option there is for niter powder. You're going to need nitrate ore for this one, which is something you can also make in here after you've unlocked it. You can use feces, linen, fire ash, and water. It can be a bit annoying to make this stuff and all that good stuff, but that is the way you'll have to kind of like, you know, go about it with the powder. It's either that or the acidic fluid, which you'll want to grow tomatoes for. There's also this compound fertilizer, which uses basically all of them and is multifunctional, which is pretty good, and it does all of the above and all that good stuff. Another thing that's really important to know about gardening is the importance of a bucket or a jug. Mainly a bucket is your best choice, and a well. So you're going to need to water your crops. And you fill your bucket up like this with a well or another water source like a river or even something like this. And when your crops need water, you're going to see there's a hydration amount on here. If you do need to hydrate your crops, then you just have it in your inventory and you just splash it like that and it goes on the farmland. And that is how you water your crops. Like I said, with the granary, you can get it to work by, you know, putting all that stuff in the granary, getting a tribesman to maintain your cropland, plant your plants, etc. They can do that. But yeah, that is how you'd go about watering them if you didn't know that. But yeah, the thing in here as well, I'm going to make a quick note about it with NPCs. You're going to ideally want to find an NPC that has a really good planting bonus. So above 120 is ideal, or even just above 90 is really good. And let me tell you why. So if I go into my own proficiency tab in my inventory and we have a look at the planting, you will see your base character is maxed out to 50, meaning you can only ever unlock the level 30 attributes in here and you can go no higher. However, if you can get a farmer, and we're going to have a look at them, you can see this one can go up to a maximum of 120. This can randomly roll on NPCs, but it's best to keep an eye out them when you're knocking them out and you tame them. Have a look at the bonuses they can get up to. It matters a lot in this game as you are playing as the mask and not as your character. So with this one, it's really good because we can unlock all of these now instead of just unlocking only one, meaning we get a choice of unlocking different things such as crop growth speed attributes, collecting output, crop fertilizer costs, and water consumption. Of course, we find most useful the collecting output because it gives us more stuff. And of course, if you can get up to 120, you can get even more. So this one will get a +8 to that. So we get more harvest if this lady deals with the crops. Or you control the lady and, you know, make her deal with the crops also. That works. So it is very important to have a very good NPC to help you farm, as it will be a lot better than using your own character 100%. But that's kind of like a nifty guide to farming. I hope it's been helpful and knowledgeable. best of luck when you're farming. I'm sure you'll find plenty of things to farm. I will also put in here, before wrapping up this video, this is not the only way to get like crops and stuff in this game. So we pop on our map here, and we're going to go down to here, right at the Flint Tribe, Barbarian Barrack, Flint Tribe, below the mysterious portal. We're going to zoom out. We're in the beta right now I'm doing this guide from, so you'll see the pyramid up there. If you go to this tribe and you go to the south of it, there's actually like crops you can farm and steal from there, which is a really good head start when you need stuff like cotton or just anything. It can randomly spawn different types of crops every time. And throughout the entire map, there are other camps exactly like this, which will also give you different crops if you farm them and go to different places. There's this really cool place in the highland that's shaped like a heart-shaped river, and in the bottom of that is a massive like tribal camp and a massive field, farmland field. So that is really cool. Definitely worth like stealing other tribes' crops. The NPCs, not other people. But yeah, hopefully that's a helpful kind of pointer for you guys. You can also get like crops and seeds from just general, you know, going around camps, farming, taking their stuff, and just breaking pots and barrels if you need extra seeds. So I hope this is helpful. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please put a like on it. If you want to see more Soulmask guides and helpful content, make sure you stick around and have a look at my channel. There'll be a lot more coming in the future. But either way, thank you for watching. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.